Hello, I'm Pat. I'm going to do a knotted necklace now, and I'm going to show you how to use Gimp to connect your fastener to it. In this video I'm showing you how to use Gimp to start and finish a knotted necklace. And Gimp comes in several different sizes. I've got A, B, C, D here. There is an E and F, which are much thicker, which are rarely used by myself. I normally use C for most things, but I do use A and B if I'm going on to freshwater pearls, and particularly A if I'm using really old pearls, you know, family heirlooms that are passed down, because they're always very fine. Gimp is actually a very fine tube. It's probably quite difficult to see there, but it's a very, very fine tube. And what I'm going to do is cut an end off here. And I'm just going to show you what happens if it's stretched. There you are. I think you can see there that it's just a very fine coil, you know, like we used to have in pens, springs in pens, and it's like that but much finer. It's very, very, very fine, and that will make a very nice and very neat end to your necklace. The advantage of this is that it hides the thread inside, and what it does, it protects the thread. So what we're going to do is we're going to start a necklace, and we always start 4 beads from the end. So I'm going to thread on 1, 2, 3, 4 beads. Now these are semi-precious beads, so the holes are not necessarily in a straight, what would look like a straight line, because they're quite sort of misshapen. But they're nice beads, and they've got a decent size hole in. The thing with these is we've got to be able to get the thread through twice. So it's worth looking at your beads when you're doing them, and when you've got them out, pick out 4 beads with a decent hole in and 4 beads for the other end. So if you've got a bead with a small hole in, that's only going to have 1 piece of thread through. So if I just show you now, we're going to put the Gimp onto this thread. So we're going to thread the Gimp. It's difficult for you to see, but we're going to thread the Gimp straight through. I'm going to cut it at an angle. That's not neat enough. To thread the Gimp through there, just through there like that. And that Gimp is going to sit there very nicely. I'm going to put it onto a jump ring. So I put the jump ring on, and then I bring up a bead. I'm going to leave an end. I need to leave 4 inches, which is 10 centimetres. Just a quick maths thing there. And I'm going to go back through the bead, the first bead, with my thread. Now sometimes with this, the thread gets a little bit stuck. So what you need to do is twist the bead to encourage it to go through. Like that, and you pull it down, and as you pull it down, it will loop through. There we are. So now you've got a nice neat end there. You've got your Gimp going through your jump ring, which is protecting the thread. There we are. Going to knot this like that. There we are. Got the knot at the bottom there, and we're now going to go through the next bead that we have on our thread. So pop that in there and straight through. That's a really nice bead, isn't it? I sometimes say thank you to beads when they've got a nice hole in. but I do a lot of knotting, and sometimes I have some very difficult beads to knot, so a nice easy one like that is a real bonus. So we're going up now with our third bead and take the thread through. There we are, another nice bead, that's lovely, and knot. Now it becomes a little bit different now. I'm going to put this thread through this bead here, but before we pull it up, we're going to get the nail varnish, and we're going to add a little bit of nail varnish to both sides of the thread. Now this is the thread only as much as is going to sit inside that bead there. So push that down, that sits there, those two pieces of thread will sit nicely together, and when I've finished I can cut that end off, and this piece here now is the piece that I'm going to knot. So a little bit awkward when you've got that tail there, but you just need to go like that and do this knot there, and then go on to your next bead and carry on knotting your necklace. This is the one that I did earlier, and what I need to do is join that to that, okay, so that this completely finishes the necklace. So what I'm going to do now is actually take these beads off here that I've put on, and then put them onto this new thread here. The good thing is that we know that the beads have good holes in, and that I can get through the holes quite easily, and that's always a bonus. So we've got these here, got the last few beads, and I'm going to put them onto this long thread here. I don't need that much thread, so I'm going to I've cut that long piece off. Ideally, when you do a necklace, if you want to measure it exactly, you need 2.5 times the length of the necklace of thread to knot between the beads. You need 3 times as much if you're doing double knots, and that's for an average 16 to 18 inch necklace. The longer your necklace, the longer the piece of thread you'll need. If you put these on, if I can just say that if you're using a culotte crimp, which is we've done in another video, you can actually start here in the centre of the necklace here and knot both sides going out that way. If you're going into a culotte crimp, you can do that, and that works perfectly well because you don't have to use Gimp. But if you're using Gimp, you have to start one end and finish the other. So we've got our 4 beads on now. We've got our Gimp here. Just need to trim that end. There we are. So that will go nicely through there. Let's try again. No, I'm going to have to cut the thread again. The other thing you can do is you can put some nail varnish on the thread and just wipe it between your fingers, and that will seal all the little ends together. So we're going to take that down now, the Gimp, and we're going to go onto the jump ring here. I'll just take that off the bolt ring. There we are. Now the thing that you have to work out now is you're going to put 3 knots in. One there, in there, one in there, and one in there. So you've got to work out where you put the Gimp on the ring so that when you're coming back through the beads, you don't have a gap between the beads. So it's quite critical that you try and look at the amount of thread you need. So if you pull that back, I think that's probably about 5mm that you need to leave free for your knotting. So we'll go back through the first bead, and that's when we'll adjust that length. So we'll pull that down. Get that to turn round. Just move that round a little bit. Pull it down. No, it doesn't want to go. That's it. Let's push it round to that side and pull it down. Now just look at that and let's have a look and see. There we are. I think we've got plenty of thread there. So we're now going to go round and we're going to knot in between these beads. Pull that one down, and then we're going to go through the next bead and another knot. That was a nice bead we had, wasn't it, that one? That was the thank you bead. The idea with knotting is when you first start is to be kind to yourself and have beads that will knot easily and will have decent size holes in. Just remember, when you do a necklace, most beads you buy in string, if you buy semi-precious beads, are 16 inches long, 41 centimetres. The knot will lengthen the necklace. So if you only want it to be 16 inches long, remember that you need to actually check how many beads you need on. And do that before you get to the last 4. Otherwise it'll make it very difficult to finish off. Okay, so now we've got to go through this bead here, and this is the one we're going to use the nail varnish on. Okay, just through there. Doesn't matter that it's a bit twisted. There we are. And then you've got that. I'll start with doing this one because I put the nail varnish on a lot earlier. Put your scissors in very close, but be very careful that you only cut the piece you want to cut. It's very easy when you're doing something, and especially if you get tired, that you can catch the knot or cut the wrong piece, and that is extremely upsetting. All right, so we've got that there, and that now has completed that necklace. So if somebody wants to take you out nicely somewhere, you've got a nice necklace you can wear. It's knotted. The beads are going to be absolutely safe even if you catch it. The only thing that might go, if you really pulled it, would be the catch, but you wouldn't lose any of your beads.